It's time for Come and Talk It with your host, Michael Cargill, brought to you by Texas Law Shield. Over the last decade, Michael has championed and supported the rights of law-abiding Texans to own and use firearms. He is the owner of Central Texas Gun Works, a veteran of the United States Army, and has achieved national exposure in such prestigious media outlets such as Forbes Magazine, Fox Business News, CNN Money, AOL, BBC World News, Huffington Post, and the New York Times. Cargill vigorously defends lawful gun ownership in this country without regard to party politics. And now, here's Michael Cargill.
Good day, Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world. Let's praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Socialist Greg Casar anti-gun rhetoric has been scrubbed completely from the internet.
I'm Greg Casar.
I want to talk about District 35, that congressional seat, the one that's been created. Well, no, that's not the one that's been created. 37 has been created, but 35, Greg Casar is running in that district, because the one that was in that district has moved somewhere else. And so it's an open seat. And so now Greg Casar, the socialist, the one that decided to defund the police, that guy, the one that decided that, we didn't need cops. He decided that, the homeless can, sit and lie and all that good kind of stuff. That guy that right there. Yeah, that guy, he's running for Congress. But you know what? We have his opponent in the studio today, Michael Rodriguez. So he's going to be inside the studio. He's going to talk to us about his race because we need to make sure that the other guy does not get in there. We want Michael Rodriguez. Remember that name, Michael Rodriguez. What's his name? Michael Rodriguez. What office he's running for? He's running for U.S. Congress, District 35. Michael Rodriguez. That's michaelfortexas.com. That's the guy we need to vote for. Need to make sure the other guy does not get in there. We're supporting Michael Rodriguez. Michael, who are you supporting? I'm supporting Michael Rodriguez. All right, so also, I want to talk about the drone lawsuit, the Texas drone lawsuit. Going to talk about that. I want to talk about the Round Rock active shooter. I want to talk about the Williamson County license plate readers. Man, what? Williamson County's getting license plate readers? You mean to tell me I gotta watch out for cameras when I'm going through Wilco? That's a problem. That's in Texas, north of Austin. I got to slow down? No, we got to do something about that. Also, L.A. robbery. I'm going to tell you what happened there. New York City bail reform. Ooh. Virginia Beach. We're going to go to the East Coast, West Coast. We're jumping all around. Cuban hotel explosion. What in the world's going on? And Dave Chappelle attacked on stage. In reality, the guy ran up on stage to attack Dave Chappelle. And they literally stumped him right out of there. I thought it was hilarious. They beat this dude to a pulp. You don't run up on stage with Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, especially when Jamie Foxx is there wearing a cowboy hat.
Jamie Foxx, well, man, they went to town on this dude. Man, he will never, ever do that again, let me tell you. We're going to talk about that. I got so much stuff that I want to talk to you guys about, but what in the world? Zach, we have the comedy show, which is the third Saturday of the month. The comedy show at Central Texas Gun Works is called Guns and Giggles. If you're ever, if you're in Austin, you happen to be in Austin, Texas, and you're looking for some comedy, come on, the third Saturday of the month, Guns and Giggles. Come on down.
What'll that be, the 21st of this month?
That's right. So what you can do is you can wear your gun, you can open carry, you can conceal carry, because I wish someone would rush the stage. My comedians. Let me tell you, we got something for you. You gonna learn that day. Let me tell you. So we open carry in the gun store, and it's the gun store. So there would be no harassing the comedians, and the comedians can talk about whatever they want to talk about. And so Guns and Giggles. That's that third Saturday of the month at Central Texas Gun Works. Come on down, have some laughs, free beer, free pizza.
That reminds me of a quote by our friend Coleon Noir.
What he said?
An armed society is a polite society.
And let me tell you, everyone's polite at Guns and Giggles at Central Texas Gun Works. We laugh, we have a great time, and we enjoy ourselves. Also, man, it's been an exciting time in Texas. Austin had a vote yesterday to decriminalize, or what was the vote about?
Yeah, that was Prop A.
Prop
It
A.
was basically two
Well, for one, no knock
two
raids.
issues: no knock raids,
No
and
knock
then
raids.
the further decriminalization of marijuana. I
Yeah,
believe small
yeah.
amounts.
So small amounts. Yeah. So basically, you have your little baggie of weed. The police are not going to pull you. They're not going to worry about that when they pull you over. And then the other thing was no knock warrants, because that's a problem, as we've seen around the country, when police go to someone's home and decide not to knock at all. They go inside, and either the police get shot, that person gets shot, because they don't know who in the world is coming through their doors. We saw this with Breonna Taylor, which they did this on what I call D-Day. D-Day was March 13th of 2020, when the country shut down and everyone panicked. COVID-19's here. The country shut down. Everyone and their mother walked into the gun store to buy a gun. And so that night, the police did a no-knock warrant at that apartment. And so police officers were shot out. Breonna Taylor's, where the police officers were shot at, Breonna Taylor was shot and killed. It was just complete chaos and mayhem. So because of that, we need to get rid of no-knock warrants, in which we're looking at doing that. We did that in Austin, and hopefully we can do something at the Capitol where we can get rid of that across the entire state of Texas. Because there's a case in Killeen, Texas, where a young man is being convicted in Killeen, Texas, or has been convicted because he was a victim of a no-knock warrant. So that clearly is a problem. I would hate for police to come to my house, not knock, and because I don't, you just don't know who it is. It could be, my family has been a victim of a home invasion, so we're always on alert, at night, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. That's just a terrible thing to do. If you want to serve a warrant, if you know where someone works, where they're, you follow them to work, you get them at the gas station, coming out of the grocery store, walking up to their vehicle. There's so many different opportunities that you can get a person.
Yeah, don't go to their castle, right?
No, not the castle. Nah, you gonna learn that day. I'm gonna tell you. You come to the castle because we prepared. We ready for a seizure.
Everything short of alligator moat.
That's right. Everything they definitely short of the alligator moat. We got everything else though. Yes, I was told, because of what I said at the last show, to not discuss what I have at the house. I was yelled at and chastised.
I mean, you can infer, but maybe don't give specifics, right?
Shut your mouth.
Yes, I was told to shut up. Don't talk about what we have at home. No one's supposed to know that. They're supposed to think, my other half is anti-gun, and we don't have, that many guns at the house, just a few guns. So I'm not supposed to discuss those things and talk about the ammunition or none of that stuff. Not supposed to talk about the grenades. Not supposed to talk about the anti-tank, missiles.
Can you talk about the 10,000 rounds of 7.62?
Not supposed to talk about that. Not supposed to talk about the bulletproof windows. Not supposed to talk about the safe room. Not supposed to talk about, none of that stuff. Smoke grenades.
What the hell have we gotten into here?
Real grenades. Not supposed to discuss none of that stuff. Not supposed to talk about, the emergency exits out the house. None of that stuff. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Folks, this is Doug Man Jones. And I get my gun news from Michael Cargill at Come and Talk It.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government. After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were complying with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so remember that socialist I talked to you about? I'm not going to say his name anymore, but he's a socialist, and he wants to take away your guns. And the funny thing about him wanting to take away your guns, they have scrubbed all the videos that were on YouTube, on Google, of him talking about actually standing in front of the Texas Capitol talking about taking your guns away. And I find that very strange that the web has been totally scrubbed of all videos of this socialist. And then also, we want to talk about this drone stuff. What's up with, why can't I fly a drone? You know what? I fly a drone. I'm letting you know right now. I'm not supposed to tell you this. This is part of my security stuff. I'm not supposed to tell you that.
Shut your mouth.
I know. I have a drone that follows me to work and go home every day that has 5.56 rifle rounds that shoot from it. I'm not supposed to tell you that, but now you know.
I want one of those. You sell them at the store?
No, we don't sell those. No. Just, just in case. Just in case. All right. So, and also, let's go back to Greg Casar. Greg Casar. Okay, that's the last time I'm saying his name. Not going to say his name anymore. No more. But you remember all the protests and the riots that we had, back in 2020 and 2019, 2018, 2017. You remember all the talk about defunding the police? Well, this guy, that's the same people that want to defund the police, the same people that, talked about, immigration. And you remember all that talk of immigration, how really it was Obama that opened the floodgates? Remember all that? And they blamed it on someone else down the road? Remember all that? Well, guess what? That guy that defunded your police, the reason why we have, issues today, why crime is so high today, is because that guy there wants to run for Congress. And we want to stop him in his tracks. And part of stopping him in his tracks is, we're bringing to the table today, to the show, Michael Rodriguez. I want you to remember that name, Michael Rodriguez. He's running for U.S. Congress, Texas District 35. That encompasses Austin. It goes down to San Antonio. It stays on the east side of Austin. Michael Rodriguez is running for Congress. This is the name that we need. We need this name, Michael Rodriguez, to go to D.C. to represent us. We do not want the other guy, that socialist, in D.C. representing this area, this district. And so if you don't remember all the protests and the riots and stuff like that, let me bring a video to light. So what happens in the dark will always come to light. But they tried to scrub this stuff out. But you know what? I kept some videos. Yeah. You can't scrub your videos from Michael Cargill. So take a listen to this. All right, so this here was a video. This is a video here that if you're watching, you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you're on the Alex Jones website there, and you're watching InfoWars, you're watching this video here. What you're going to see is some individuals that are, just attacking, people in the street, attacking a family who are trying to just go home for the night because they decided to just walk out, block traffic, and just, cause mayhem and chaos in Austin, Texas. And prior to this happening was this other guy, the Socialist, encouraged the people to actually go and do this. He said, go out, do this, go ahead and do great things. And we want you to, do whatever you're going to do to let people know that you're upset and whatever. And this is what they did. He was the instigator. The other guy was the instigator to this. And if you want stuff like this to happen on a national scale, if you want things like this, if you want defunding the police to go a much greater scale, if you want to tip the scales in the midterm elections to go to the group of people that want to defund the police, then vote for the Socialist, because that's what's going to happen. If you stay home, if you don't go to the polls and go vote, you're going to lose that power and that control. You're going to lose your law enforcement. You're not going to have, Austin, for Austin to be the most growing city in the nation, we are so behind on law enforcement per capita, per individual. We need more law enforcement. We need to hold them accountable. And I'm telling you now, if we do not do this, we're going to find ourselves in a world of hurt come 2024, 2025, 2026. Crime is increasing because they're saying, hey, you know what? We're not going to fund the police. The other guy is responsible for the city council of Austin, Texas, not having a police academy and not hiring more police officers. If you don't hire more police officers, you don't have police officers for the police department, we can't stop crime. When you're calling 911 and they're saying, hey, don't call us, call 311, that's because of the other guy. Okay? If you have a business, you're listening to me, and you have a business in Austin, Travis County, wherever you are in the country, in the state of Texas, and police don't show up to your business because there's crime happening, it's because of the other guy. We got to stop him from going to D.C. and doing this on a larger scale. So let me bring it to the conversation, Michael Rodriguez. Michael, welcome to Come and Talk It, sir.
Hey, thank you, Michael.
Absolutely. So, Michael, tell me about you. Tell me, what's your background like? Because I think you're in the military, right?
Yes, sir.
You're a soldier.
Yep, I am. I'm currently in the National Guard. Prior to that, I have active duty time in the Marine Corps and active duty time in the Army. And all of it, my entire career has been in the infantry. So I've always been in the fight.
Nice.
I don't back down from it. And this is the reason why I'm stepping up and, throwing my hat into the congressional level, because this is the new front for me.
And why did you decide to run for Congress of all seats?
Because of my federal background, being in the military, I understand that more than, it's less of a learning curve for me. And I can jump in. I understand the language. I understand the lingo. I understand, the ins and the outs from the workings perspective of the federal government than I would try to learn the aspects of local governments. So.
Yeah, and it's I tell you, it's something else, because you're talking about going to the national level now. You're talking about going to D.C.
Yes.
And so, what are some of the things that you think you want to focus on when you go to D.C.?
Well, nationally, security of our nation. That's top priority.
Okay.
It has to be the top priority because without the security of our nation, we'd have nothing to secure.
Right.
So I definitely want to bring that to the table up front. You know, it is the federal government's responsibility to manage the security of our nation, which to include our borders. So, and everyone knows what's going on down there. I have a lot of, I know people that are down on the borders, and I know the struggles that they are going through. And when it comes down to it, it's the federal government's responsibility to handle that straightforward.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's, the governor, Governor Abbott's trying to do what he can, with the, the Texas Guard, but you're right. That's the federal government, should stop that. And, and it's crazy how no one's talking about that.
Yep.
They only talked about that when Trump was in office, when the shoe was on the other foot. They were talking about everything. They took planes down to El Paso, down to the South, and they were just complaining. Now it's worse.
Yes.
And mom's the word. They're not saying anything.
They don't talk about the illegal crossings. They don't talk about the money that's pouring into it. And this is funded by the state of Texas. And this should be a federal funded operation.
And the scale at which people are crossing over is just through the roof.
Yes.
The amount of people, they're not talking about any of that stuff.
Nope.
It's just insane.
And they ignore the fact that, the czar of the border that's supposed to be handling it hasn't been down there, has been very quiet about it. But it's obviously not a top priority for the current administration.
Right. And you don't plan on taking our guns away, are you?
No, absolutely not. That is, no, the Second Amendment is there and it will stay.
Nice. Because you're in the military. You know how important that is.
That's right.
That's right. But we're not going to be like Ukraine, where, oh my goodness, hey, everyone, we need to teach our citizens how to fire a rifle. I think we all know how to do that, at least a lot of us, a large portion of us. There's so many guns in this country, a person would be crazy to do what they're doing with the Ukraine.
That's right. And I respect a person's right to, not handle them. That's their right. The right is there for all if you choose to have it. And if you don't want to handle it, that's perfectly fine. There are plenty others that know how.
That's right. I tell you, we're talking today. We're sitting here talking with Michael Rodriguez. He's running for U.S. Congress, Texas District 35. That's Michael Rodriguez running for Congress, Texas District 35. His website is michaelfortexas.com. Go ahead and check it out. Check this guy out, Michael Rodriguez, running for Congress, Texas District 35. We come back from the break. I want to talk about the drone lawsuit for the state of Texas. I want to talk about the Round Rock active shooter. Man, when you're in Round Rock, when that happened yesterday, it was crazy from what I hear. Insane. Also, want to talk about the license plate readers. What's going on with that? In L.A., we're going to go to California. We're going to go to New York City. We're going to Virginia Beach. We're even going to talk about Cuba, or the Cuban hotel explosion. We're going to talk about that. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Hi, this is Stephen Williford, the Barefoot Defender. I get my global gun news from Michael Cargill at Come and Talk It.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, I invoke my right to remain silent, and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned, those statements can and will be used against you because you're not being interrogated. You're just starting to spout off. This is why it's imperative.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
Let's talk about these drones, man. The state appeals verdict in the drone lawsuit. So the state of Texas is appealing a federal court ruling issued in March that invalidated the state law prohibiting the use of unmanned aerial vehicles known as drones for a news gathering as being inconsistent with the First Amendment. So the move was not surprising, but TAB, I don't know if you know what TAB is, the Texas Association of Broadcasters, their legal counsel advises that until a stay is issued either by the judge or who issued the ruling or by the appellate court, the photojournalists may continue to exercise their First Amendment right of news gathering through the use of drones. And so that's right. And we're broadcasters. So when we have a drone up in the air, it's all about the news. Right?
So it was Judge Robert Pittman, actually.
Oh, we know Mr. Pittman.
We do.
Yeah, he's very popular. Mr. Pittman's very popular. That's right. He's there at every turn. He's been there a long time. He's not leaving that seat. Every man, he was there. Man, he was there for the cocaine constable too. Yes, I know Mr. Pittman.
The cocaine commander.
The cocaine commander, cocaine constable. He's been there for all of them.
Was it constable too?
Constable too. That's right. That's right.
How many of them are there?
There's a lot of them. Let me tell you. So he's been there for all of them. So the March ruling was made in a lawsuit brought by the National Press Photographers Association, the Texas Press Association, and a journalist. TAB filed a friend of the court brief supporting the plaintiffs, which was prepared by attorneys with Jackson Walker LLP, TAB's general counsel law firm, and joined by the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press. When the ruling was issued, attorney Paul Waltler with Jackson Walker had offered the following takeaways for journalists. Journalists hold a constitutional protected right to document and disseminate the news. It is unlawful to use drones for news gathering activities and to publish their images. And news organizations may use drone photography and images without looming concerns of liability. So let me go back. So journalists hold a constitutional protected right to document and disseminate the news. It is lawful to use drones for news gathering activities and to publish their images. And the right to fly drones is not absolute, although the court found this particular Texas law too broad in scope. And drone usage continues to be subject to narrower statutes and regulations concerning safety and national security that carry stiff civil and criminal penalties. So we're going to follow this case because I love my drones. And I think, the broadcasters, the news media, the press should be able to fly drones, for news gathering, when they're traffic, even crime scenes. You're not going to see gruesome stuff on the news anyway. They're going to cover that stuff up. So you're not going to see someone's face or anything like that. But it's important that the media has access to that stuff. And I don't think the state, the city, the county should have, be able to control the air, the sky. All right. But let's get back to this election. I want to get back to this congressional seat because I want to talk about, what's happening in Texas. I want to talk about the congressional seat of District 35. And Michael Rodriguez, tell us, you're in a runoff election also.
Yep, I am in the runoff. The early voting starts on May 16th to the 20th, and election day is the 24th of May.
All right. So, and it's important that people get out into the runoff because they think that we just had an election, which is on Saturday.
Yesterday.
And so that election's over. They're like, hey, I just voted. But you know what? There's another election coming on. It's coming really quick. What are those dates?
The May 16th through the 20th, early voting.
May 16th to May 20th is early voting, people, for the runoff elections. So any runoff elections that are out there, you know what we saw was like city, what we just did just now,
Constitutional
constitutional amendments. But now we have runoff elections. Unfortunately, I don't know why they didn't do this at the same time. It would have been easier, but they didn't. So unfortunately, we have to go back out again and go back and vote. Remember? So the runoff election starts when?
May 16th.
May 16th.
Through the 20th.
Through May 20th. And
Election day is May 24th.
So
that way you can vote for our congressional levels and our state level representatives.
And that's a Tuesday, right? May 24th?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, because my sister's birthday is on May 20. Yeah, I bet I said it on the air.
May 20 what?
May 20 what? I bet I said it. I'll get in trouble. All right. So, yeah. So, election day is May 24th. This is for the runoff election. So, get on out there early voting. I like to early vote. I like to get it on out of the way. That way I can talk trash, later on down the road. Say, I voted. And I vote in every single election. I vote in every single election, since I was 21 years old. I never miss an election. So if you miss an election, you don't go vote, then don't get on Facebook. Don't get on Twitter complaining about what you don't like because you didn't go vote. We don't care what your opinion is because you didn't let us know your opinion when you went to the polls. Go vote. That's your opinion. If you're tired of traffic, if you're worried about, defunding the police, the biggest thing here is crime now. People, why can I not call 911 and a police officer comes out and fill out a report or comes out, and catch this criminal who's trying to break into my house? Well, that's because you didn't go vote. Why? Someone's trying to break into my business and I'm calling 911. Well, police aren't coming because you didn't go vote. Well, I'm trying to, we're having issues with, homeless people the homeless that are, committing crimes. The police are not coming because you didn't go vote. Well, okay. All right. So, my property taxes is increasing in the city. I need to do something about my property taxes. Well, they're going to increase because you know why? You didn't go vote. But okay. So I'm tired of, I don't want to hear it because you didn't go vote. Go vote. That's what you do. And vote for Michael Rodriguez. Right, Michael?
Yes, all right. I'll take it.
That's right. Tell me some more, Michael.
What you said about the property taxes. I mean, a lot of people, I didn't know this, but we have till May 15th to file to challenge it.
To protest it?
Yeah, to protest
it. Man.
And you got to turn that in before May 15th.
The individuals do? Individual homeowners?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that's, just to get the challenge to protest and be like, hey, this is way too high. I don't deserve it. You got to fill out that paperwork that they all send us in the mail that most people probably just threw to the side because it says, this is not a bill. This is not a bill. This is not a bill. So, and everyone's like, oh, it's not a bill, so I don't have to worry about it. But inside there's important paperwork to say, hey, protest your property taxes.
That's right.
Yeah, I read that the average home in Travis County went up 56% in appraised value.
And if you can hear my voice and you're saying, I don't own a home, I rent. Well, guess what? You're going to sit in your rent. Your rent's going up,
Rent's
buddy.
going to go up.
It will be reflected in your rent. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad, and it's gone up drastically. And you're seeing that in little areas, little pockets, like going to the airport. You remember those long lines at the airport? Well, guess what? You don't have employees working at the airport. You know why they don't have enough employees working at the airport? Because they can't afford to live in the city, and that job that at the airport doesn't pay enough. So guess what? They're not working there. That's why you're sitting in that line at the airport right now trying to make it to your plane. You know why? You're going out to eat at the restaurant and you're wondering, oh my goodness, why is the restaurant closing so early? Pre-COVID, the restaurants would stay open a lot later. Well, you know what? They don't have enough employees to work at the restaurant. You know why? Because they can't afford to live in the city. Because the rent has gone up too high, or their property taxes are too high. Can't afford to stay here. So they're moving out of the city. So we don't have the employees to work those jobs. It just rolls downhill. I remember that. You remember Zach, pre-COVID, I can, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, we can find a place to eat at night.
Those were the good old days.
Yeah, you better find yourself a food truck. I'm telling you right now, that's the only place you have to eat is a food truck. And it's guess what? The ones down 6th Street, where all the shootings take place, because crime's so bad, because we defunded the police, because we don't know how to handle that situation. Remember that? Well, guess what? Those food trucks down there are open. So put on your little flak jacket, your bulletproof vest, and head on down to 6th Street if you want to get yourself something to eat at 10 o'clock at night, because they're open. Outside of that, there are very few places that are open past that. It's crazy because, when I went out to eat like last weekend, and I was going to go to this one restaurant, one of my favorite restaurants, and they're like, you're not eating here tonight because we're all booked up. And I was like, whoa, you guys just opened 5 minutes ago. How are you all booked up? We're booked solid for the rest of the night. One of my favorite restaurants. Crazy. That's post-COVID. Not enough employees. They're not open late enough. And so because of that, employees, they're not taking those jobs. They're not working those places because they can't afford to stay here in Austin because their rent's too high, their taxes are too high. So we need to make sure that we get the right person in D.C. to fight for us. Because if we do not do this, this problem is going to get worse, people. It's going to increase. So you need to take a look at Michael Rodriguez. Because if you let that other guy, that socialist, get in that seat, he's going to take your guns away, crime's going to increase, and your taxes are going to continue to go sky high and through the roof. Trust me. But hey, I'm a disabled veteran. I don't pay property taxes. So you know what? Do what you got to do. I'm just here to give you the message. I'm just talking to you. Because you know what? My taxes are waived because I'm a disabled vet. Michael?
Yes, sir.
So, tell me some things, some other things that people need to be aware of and what they need to do.
Well, investigate your candidates. Like you're talking about. There's the other guy. Sounds good. Sounds fun. But what else is it? What else about him is there? Like most people want to know about me, and they scour the internet trying to figure out who I am. And I never thought it was a bad thing not to be found on the internet. But
because you are you're a working man.
Yep.
You're a soldier. You're in the Marine Corps. You're in the Texas Guard now.
Yes.
You're in the Texas Guard because you spent your lifetime working,
Yep.
providing for your family, and you understand the struggle that the normal person's going through.
Yep.
And you're saying, hey, we need to end that struggle, and we need to, help out the regular guy, not just the richest, the top 10% of this country.
And I definitely understand the struggle. I mean, my wife and I, we struggled. We had our struggles, but who doesn't? Everybody has their own struggles, and it is up to us to help ourselves out and not just rely on our government to help us out. I mean, if they're there to help us out, and I'll take a hand up. I won't take a hand out. If it's going to make me better, I'm all for it, and I'll do it, and I'll do that what needs to be done. But the some of the programs that are being offered out there is like, when there's no end date, there's no progress, there's no, hey, this is to help you out so that way you can progress throughout the community. And I'd like to, I admit I took some of those programs that were out there because we needed them, but we didn't live off of them. Whenever we caught up and we had what we had to do, we got off of them.
Right.
So
and they say, you can, instead of giving someone a fish, teach them how to fish so they can provide for their family. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Peace, this is Maj Toure. You're listening to Come and Talk It Radio with Michael Cargill.
Hello, my name is Edwin Walker. I'm an independent program attorney with Texas Law Shield. I want to talk to you today about an issue that we see on a daily basis. In fact, you yourself will encounter it on a daily basis, and that is the subject of road rage. I am sure that you have all seen road rage. You may have actually been involved in a road rage incident. Now, if you're a responsible gun owner, I'm going to give you a few words of advice on how to react when you find yourself in one of these unfortunate road rage incidents. While on the roadways, we all observe something that makes us upset. Whether it's poor driving, unsafe driving, or just simply somebody being very discourteous. By all means, you should restrain yourself from engaging that person and telling them how bad their actions were, because this can be perceived as an act of road rage. If you're a lawful gun owner, you have a firearm in your vehicle, you do not want to be viewed as the aggressor in a road rage situation. Now, with regard to a situation where an individual has chosen to rage against you, and you are the actual victim of the road rage, if you and the other individuals are still in their automobiles, do not use your firearm to respond to any of the rager's activities. This is because law enforcement views the fact that you're both still safely in your metal boxes as removing any threat of immediacy that you may be harmed. So please, if you have a gun, somebody is raging against you, forget you have a gun. Don't display it, don't brandish it, don't show it, don't point it, and for God's sake, don't fire it. This could result in a lot of trouble for you. Now let's look at a situation where a road rage incident has escalated. It has escalated to the point where one of the participants has actually gotten out of their vehicle. We recommend that you stay in your vehicle at all times. Do not exit your vehicle, because the person who exits their vehicle is going to be looked at as the aggressor. If the other individual has exited their vehicle and they are not in contact with your vehicle and they do not have a weapon, then do not feel that you can display your weapon in an act of self-defense. People are allowed to just simply stand there and scream at you, scream whatever they want. Until they make a demonstrative effort to try to harm you, there is no immediate threat that would justify displaying or shooting or brandishing your firearm. Now, in the event that the person shows their own weapon, in particular a firearm, the existence of their weapon would give you reasonable belief that there was an immediate threat of harm.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so the Round Rock Police Department has identified the man at the center of a shelter-in-place notice in Round Rock on Saturday afternoon, who was later found dead. Now, police identified the man, a 31-year-old Henry Tolentino, a Round Rock resident who lived on Bent Tree Loop near where the shooting occurred. In the press conference Saturday, Round Rock PD Chief Alan Banks said the man, who was wearing a body armor, fired at officers numerous times near a wooded area at Old Settlers Boulevard and Bent Tree Drive. The situation started around 12:30 p.m. after 911 caller reported that they had been shot multiple times by a man outside of their home. Another caller said they saw a man in a trench coat carrying a AK-style rifle run across Old Settlers Boulevard. And when officers arrived at the scene, the man began shooting as he moved into the woods and officers fired back. Later, the man also shot at an armed police vehicle and officers again returned fire. And so this was a crazy scene on a Saturday afternoon in Austin, Texas. And police said the man was found dead in the wooded area. Banks said it is unclear if officers shot the man or if he took his own life. But Banks said the situation is under investigation as officers involved in the shooting. Take a listen to Chief Banks.
A call of a person who had been shot multiple times. The caller told dispatch that the shooter was possibly a neighbor of his. Officers responded to the location along with medical personnel. At approximately 12:38, we received a report that a male wearing a black trench coat and carrying an AK-style rifle ran across Old Settlers, also known as 3406. At 12:43, a fire department battalion chief reported that he saw a subject hop the fence at Barron's Ranch and Plantation wearing camouflaged clothing. Officers responded to that area. The male subject immediately engaged officers and began firing upon them. He then retreated into the wood line at Camino del Verde Place and Solorn Way. Officers did return fire as he continued to shoot at them as he retreated into the wood line. Officers recognized at that time that the subject was wearing body armor. Due to the severity of the situation, multiple agencies responded to the scene. As our armored vehicle arrived on scene, the subject began shooting at the armored vehicle. Officers then returned fire at him again. The subject was later found in the dense wood line. Less than lethal rounds were used by officers to see if the subject would respond. Subject did not respond at that time. It was determined that he was deceased. It is unknown if it is a result of officers' actions or if he took his own life. This is an ongoing investigation. There are no injuries to officers. We did have one officer that sustained medical or had a medical situation. He was transported to the hospital. He currently is in stable condition. The original victim that was shot received non-life-threatening injuries. He is also in stable condition at the hospital. Multiple agencies responded to the situation. They do include Austin Police Department, Georgetown, Williamson County, Cedar Park.
All right, so man, that's a crazy scene on a Saturday afternoon. And just imagine your Saturday. A lot of people were going out on Saturday to do a pre-Mother's Day. And by the way, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Let me tell you. Yes, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to my mother, who I call first thing in the morning, right when I woke up there. I was the first person to call my mother out of all my other siblings. The rest of you guys, y'all suck. I was first. That's right. I called mom first. First one. You know why? Because I'm the favorite. And that's why. That's right. I'm the favorite, siblings. Deal with it. That's right. Don't call me later on. I don't want to hear about how you're angry with me. I'm the favorite. I called mom first as soon as she woke up. And, while she was drinking her coffee, she was eating her breakfast. I talked to her the entire time for a good whole hour. We, had a great conversation, over breakfast because I'm the favorite and I talked to my mom first. It's great. It's great, man. Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, happy Mother's Day. I know my mother, she's listening. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Nice.
Happy Mother's Day to my wife, my grandmother, and my mother-in-law. Happy Mothers to all the mothers.
That's right, because without the mothers, we would not be here today.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so yeah, that was a crazy scene yesterday. And like I said, a lot of people were trying to do that pre-Mother's Day, dinner, lunch, whatever yesterday, because today is kind of really busy at all the different restaurants. So they're trying to do it yesterday. And so while you're trying to do that, imagine the shooting taking place. It was just a crazy scene. And I'm willing to bet that a regular citizen was, had something to do with, this guy getting shot as well. I'll put money on it. You'll hear later on down the road that a citizen, a Round Rock citizen, pulled out his firearm and actually shot this guy, and that was the bullet that killed this guy. I'll put money on it for sure. All right, so let's go back to Williamson County, which is Round Rock, Texas. Williamson County is planning to install 25 license plate reading cameras across the county to help fight and solve crimes. County commissioners approved an agreement for a flock of cameras, a little pilot program there, Tuesday in a unanimous vote. And the sheriff's office has not set a date. They didn't set a date or anything like that yet to install the cameras, so we don't know when that's going to begin. But it's supposed to be a 12-month pilot program for these cameras. So, all right, for 12 months there. So 12 months, I need to make sure I stay out of Williamson County. But I'm not a criminal. I'm not doing anything wrong, so I don't have anything to worry about. So I just don't want anyone to know when I'm going through McDonald's in Williamson County to grab my large order of fries and my Big Mac, when I'm supposed to be cheating on my diet and not eating any meat. I just want to be on camera. Don't want to be on camera doing that. Yeah. Yes, I do cheat every once in a while on my diet. All right. So, but you know what? Michael Rodriguez, tell us about yourself.
Okay. So I'm just, like I said, a working man, military man. Grew up in the military. My dad was in the military. So I'm in the military. The reason why I want to run for Congress because most people don't know that you don't have to live in the district that you're running for the congressional seat.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's true.
So I can live anywhere in Texas and run in that seat.
Yes.
I did not know that.
So I
You'd be
live
a
in the
carpetbagger.
Yes, there you go.
Wow.
But I live in the district, and it's the district. And not only do I live in the district, it's the district I grew up in.
And now that you're saying that, I don't think the other guy lives in the district.
I'm gonna bet money that he does not.
I'm pretty sure he does not.
Well, if he was city council 4,
right,
that is not in the District 35.
Right. So he doesn't live. Yeah, I want to bet he is. Wow, this guy's representation. Wow, he doesn't.
I mean,
live
like
in the
I
district.
say, if he truly wanted to be a congressman, he wanted to run for Congress. He should have ran for the district that he lives in, which is 37. So
wow, interesting. Very interesting.
Well, I live in 35. I'm running for the district I live. I'm running the district where I grew up in. From elementary, I graduated from Texas State University, which is all in the district.
So nice. Live in the district.
Live in the district.
Went to school in the district.
Went to school in the district. I still live in the district.
Wow.
So,
and that's important because you know the struggle that people are going through.
I've seen the changes too.
And you can actually represent them, because you're there.
Yes.
On the ground. You're living there. You shop there.
Yep.
Okay, that's really important to know. The other guy does not even, I'm willing to bet, doesn't live in the district. Can't. It's impossible. Judging by the last office that the other guy held, where all the crimes increasing in that area, drastically. So keep that in mind. Also, want to talk about Los Angeles. So L.A. So gunfire broke out at a smoke shop just before 7 p.m. in Compton. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department said 4 people entered the store and pointed handguns at an employee behind a counter. An employee appears to be wearing a ballistic vest with security written on it, according to the security footage released by authorities Wednesday. And one suspect can be seen taking out a gun and pointing at him. The employee pulls out a gun, and a gun battle ensues. The suspect trip over each other, and as they try to flee and fire several rounds out the store, at the store employee there as they're running out the door. So he was shot in the neck and face, but was later released from the hospital. A half hour after the gunfire exchange, deputies responded to Martin Luther King Hospital for a gunshot victim. Investigators said that the victim was one of the 4 suspects at the smoke shop who had been wounded. And the sheriff's department told the news media outlet there that the suspect later died, and the second suspect was arrested the following day. And this happened, just so you know, back in April, but we're just getting access to the video now. Crazy scene in a smoke shop, and you're seeing this all around the country where, criminals are getting very bold in what they're doing. So you're going to have to take, because of the other guy who's running against Michael Rodriguez here, they defunded the police. We got to start defending ourselves. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
This is Brittany Glaze, and I get my global gun news from Michael Cargill on Come and Talk It.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government. After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, we're going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02, The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were complying with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and all the mothers who want to be mothers, and all the sisters in them, and everything. I know I'm going to mess that all up, so I'm going to stop right there. All right, so, Zach, what happened? Something has happened in the news. Someone's died.
Oh, yeah, Kevin Samuels has died.
All right, who's Kevin Samuels? Who's this guy?
If you don't know about Kevin Samuels, he is this dapper gentleman that gives relationship advice on social media platforms.
Okay.
And some say that his advice is cruel.
Oh,
but,
so he gave some mean advice out there, huh?
Yeah, these women call in that think that they're all that and then a bag of chips.
And then he
he
sets them
basically
straight.
lets them know, nope.
Wow. How old was Kevin?
He's like 56 or
That's all,
57.
just 56 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Poor Kevin.
Uh-huh.
Well, I guess those ladies are standing over his grave right now saying, ha, ha, ha.
Nah, I bet he's still just shaking his head in the grave at this moment.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Poor Kevin. All right, that's okay. Well, ladies, pick yourself up and keep moving. All right, so ghost guns. Let's talk about that. Ghost guns can cause serious harm, but controversial bail reform is scarier in New York City. Yeah. So police say Edison Cruz of the Bronx has been trying hard to go to jail. He's been doing whatever he possibly could, which is not easy to do in New York City, apparently. You could totally commit crimes. You could shoot people and you still may not go to jail. So he kept getting arrested. They kept letting him go. And he's so really, what's an up and coming convict to do? So kill somebody, police say, and shoot two innocent bystanders with a ghost gun, a handgun assembled illegally from mail order parts. And so this persistentness of this guy After 3 previous ghost gun-related busts, followed by 2 instant releases under New York's insane bail laws and then a timely bailout arranged by a Bronx alternative justice group, Cruz was free finally to make the big time. He now stands accused of second-degree murder, manslaughter, and weapons charges, a list likely to grow as authorities finish sorting the spare parts he allegedly used to build an untraceable firearm. So at that point, I guess they got his attention, or he got their attention, I should say. It takes a lot. So I'm looking at a P80 polymer, a polymer 80 there in the background. You see that? And so basically, he bought some polymer 80s, and I guess he gave some 80% there, and he put them together. And body armor looks like a funky little AR pistol. I'm looking at. That doesn't look good at all. Almost looks like a 308. And he's done some stuff there. He's got and looks like in New York City you can't walk down the street with like an axe or a sword. Yeah, he's got some kind of little sawed out like a little sword there too. Yeah, so he's definitely.
Yeah, it's not Texas.
Nah, it's not Texas. We Texas, we don't have, knife law in Texas. You can walk down the street with any size knife in Texas. There's certain places you cannot take a knife with a length of blades over 5 1/2 inches. All right, so ghost guns are the bugbear of the moment because only, according to what they say in New York, only a lunatic will defend them. And because it is much easier and far less controversial to blame them for New York's blood-spattered sidewalks than it would be to bring the full force of the law down on the core problem. The trigger pullers. What a concept. It's not necessarily the ghost guns, because what if I want to build a gun at home, with my son, with my daughter, as a project, like I'm building a model car, I should be able to do that. The problem is, what if I take that model car, that vehicle that I built, and I take it on the road and I run someone over and kill them with it? Then that's the problem. Not the problem, not me building the car in my home. The problem is that I run out and kill someone in the vehicle. That is the problem. Same thing with the firearm. If I want to go, at home in my garage, in my living room, build a firearm, I should be able to do that. The problem is going out and committing a crime with the firearm. My goodness, people, wake up and smell the coffee. Guns are not the problem. It's people that are the problem. And looking at this guy, he's definitely the problem. He should have been locked up a long time ago. Insane. Also, let's talk about, someone's talking about unregistered machine guns. I don't know what that's at in Virginia Beach. Let's go to Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach. A Virginia Beach man was indicted this week by a federal grand jury after the ATF said he sold them several unregistered illegal machine guns. Listen, people, if you pull the trigger and it shoots multiple rounds, that's a machine gun. And the last thing you want to do is sell it to an ATF agent. Don't do it. If you do, don't drop the soap. They're going to get you. In a release from the Department of Justice, federal prosecutors say that 28-year-old Patrick Tate would sell the guns online, and 8 were purchased through a confidential source by the ATF. When authorities executed a search warrant on Tate's home, I guess his last name really is Adamax, but I'm going to call him Tate, they say that they recovered 25 unregistered machine guns. 25 machine guns. Where in the world you get 25 machine guns? I can't even get 25 machine guns, and I'm an FFL dealer. What do these people do? How do they get this stuff? They didn't specify exactly what type of guns they were. And Tate there was charged with receiving, possessing, and transferring unregistered machine guns and for selling firearms without a federal firearms license. And he faces a maximum of 10 years in prison. Wow. So have fun, Tate. Don't drop the soap. We'll see you in 10. Holla. Peace. It's been nice knowing you.
So it's a maximum of 10 years for him.
The maximum of 10. He'll get the max because 25 unregistered.
That's a lot.
Yeah. He'll either negotiate and rat out wherever he got those guns from. If he doesn't rat them out, then he's getting a 10. If he doesn't get a 10, he ratted someone out. So what else is going on out there, Zach? What's going on in the world? It's so much going on.
What is going on in the world?
Yeah, it's a lot going on out there.
There is a lot, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we already discussed that active shooting a little bit. Did we?
We did.
Yeah, that guy's dead.
We didn't talk about Cuba. Got to talk about Cuba. We'll talk about
Cuban hotel.
Yeah, we'll talk about in the other half, the next segment there. What else is going on in the world? Anyone else?
A lot of things. I mean, we're living in a pretty busy time right now.
COVID's over. We can take our mask off now.
COVID's over. Jill Biden's in Ukraine.
Oh, that's
made
right.
a surprise visit.
Nice.
She's not wearing a mask.
She's not.
No.
Oh my God. I guess
not on the photo ops.
Oh well, COVID's over. The first lady's not wearing a mask. Take your mask off.
Mm-hmm.
I miss 2020 though. I miss 2020. I'm gonna tell you why. I miss walking into the bank, in Austin, Texas, Bank of America, and then open carrying a handgun, and being able to wear a face mask. Let me tell you, you people are nuts. I love 2020. I was like, thank you so much for what you've done for me. You allowed me to open carry a handgun and put on a face mask and walk into the bank as a black man. Let me tell you. God,
I hope you went to the bank
you.
like that and your mask was one of those neck gaiters with like a skull outline on it,
Oh, I love 2020. I was just, when March, April, May, June happened, I was just like, I can actually wear a face mask and go into the bank and open carry a gun? Oh my goodness. Thank you, Texas. I love Texas. This is the Lone Star State. Boy, I love this country. This United States is nothing like it anywhere else. There's nothing like US. So I really miss, from the bottom of my heart, I miss 2020. I miss that. Walking to the bank with a face mask, open carrying a gun.
I saw a guy today that had on 2 masks.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Still?
Coming to pick up food at the restaurant.
In 2022?
Stupid or something.
You really? Wearing 2 masks?
2 masks.
Wow. How often does he leave the house? Well, hopefully, maybe because he was sick. He was trying not to get us sick.
Oh, maybe.
That could be
Yeah.
That's
We're
gonna give him the
likely the case when you see people doing that.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Got to watch out for those people that do that.
That's right. That's right. I'm assuming they're sick. Something's wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
We need to stay far away. They got the plague.
The plague with a 99.97% survival rate.
That's right. That's 99. That's right. That's right. Oh man, I have some family members that are just like, oh no, I leave the house, I mask up, I put on mask, gloves. I'm like, yeah, okay.
And eyeglasses.
Yeah, we're out here having
face
fun.
mask, face shield, hairnet. Right.
Yes, I'm telling you now. Well, whatever floats your boat, people. Do what you got to do. Be you, boo boo.
Oh, so everybody knows about Elon Musk and his buyout of Twitter.
Yes, Elon's buying Twitter.
So there's actually a shareholder lawsuit that's challenging this buyout now.
Oh, Don't be a player hater. Let Elon buy Twitter. So they're trying to fight it. Well,
the Orlando Police Pension Fund.
They can't afford it.
Yeah, they're saying Delaware law forbids a quick merger because Musk had agreements with other big Twitter shareholders, including his financial advisor Morgan Stanley and Twitter founder Jack Dorsey, to support the buyout.
Well, they don't have enough money to fight Elon. So they're going to lose this battle. I'm pretty sure about that.
He's going to have to liquidate a lot of his money, a lot of his stocks.
In order to buy it?
Pay for this, yeah.
You think so?
I think he has to, yeah.
Oh, okay. We come back from the break. I'm going to talk about Dave Chappelle. He was attacked on stage in Hollywood. The bowl what they call the Hollywood Bowl, by an audience member who's armed with a replica gun and a knife and got his face stumped in. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
This is Coleon Noir, and you're listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, I invoke my right to remain silent, and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned, those statements can and will be used against you because you're not being interrogated. You're just starting to spout off. This is why it's imperative that you know your rights and you shouldn't rely on the police to read them to you. Affirmatively invoke your rights. Say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent and my right to my attorney. Once you do that, the police legally shouldn't continue questioning you without your attorney present. But remember, there's a second part to this equation. After invoking your rights, you must exercise those rights. That means you have to keep your mouth closed. Protect yourself. Don't let the legal system take advantage of you after an incident. And Law Shield members, if you've been involved in a self-defense incident, remember to call the emergency hotline and speak with your independent program attorney.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
At least 30 people were killed after a massive hotel explosion in Havana, Cuba, according to the health ministry. So 24 people still remain hospitalized even today, after this Friday explosion at a hotel Saratoga in Havana. So on Saturday, Cuban state media reported 32 dead, and Cuba's president said 26 were killed. That doesn't make any sense. So they're going back and forth between those numbers. I'm confused by that.
I'm looking on NBC and they're saying 3 hours ago that the death toll has risen to 30.
It's gone to 30 now? Okay.
So I guess they just
Rescue workers continue searching the hotel's ruined Sunday, and officials said they believe more bodies remain inside the structure. The state-run company, which manages the hotel, said 11 workers died in the blast and 13 remain missing. A Cuban-American woman is among the injured, according to the Dalla Alba Gonzalez, a Ministry of Tourism spokesperson, and a gas leak is thought to be the cause of the explosion. Okay, so it's going to be over a gas leak. Thought it was good thing it's not a bomb or something like that. That's crazy. And Cuba, man, Cuba's a beautiful, and Havana's a beautiful city. I like the vehicles in Havana. It's like going back to like the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Those vehicles are so nice, and they keep them in great condition. Like they're just like tip-top shape. And so one of these days, hopefully we'll get it opened back up. We can go back to. I would love to take a vacation in Cuba. Love to go to Havana.
You still can, right?
I think I have to go to Mexico, and then from Mexico, then over to Cuba.
So it's just a pain.
Yeah. So hopefully one of these days we'll be able to do that. I think that'll be nice. So my thoughts and prayers, to the Cuban people in Havana there. So hopefully, they're able to rebuild and then take care of the loss and the injured, in this tragic incident here. Dave Chappelle. Do we even have the video of what happened? The running on the stage and all that stuff. I think there's a video out there. We got to take a look at this because this guy So Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage by an audience member armed with a fake gun that had a real knife inside. And I guess he had it in his backpack or something like that.
Had in his backpack.
Yeah, so it happened Tuesday night at the Hollywood Bowl, according to the authorities. The comic, I know Dave Chappelle's only 48 years old. He's that young. I'm older than Dave. Well, age is not going to be kind to him because he looks older than 48. I'm just saying.
He's seen some stuff.
Dave, you need to drink more water. you need to drink some milk.
Get that boy some milk.
That's right, because age is not going to be kind to you. If you're only 48, you look a lot older than that. Whatever you're doing, you need to stop it. So according to the reports here, Dave was performing as part of the Netflix is a Joke Festival when the mayhem unfolded around 10:45 p.m. And Beyonce was in the audience?
No.
Yeah, Beyonce was there. Man, she's seen a lot. Poor Beyonce. She gets to witness all this crazy stuff. She had to witness the slap of when what's the guy that got slapped?
Chris Rock.
She's been there for like all these different little weird things and stuff in the audience and stuff. So it's been pretty crazy. So the shocking video footage shows Chappelle standing on stage as an audience member, identified as authorities as Isaiah Lee, who is 23 years old, charges and slams him to the floor. Seconds later, the attacker was tackled by security. And also, who else ran onto the stage there? Or was on the stage?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. That's right. Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is straight from the hood.
His Texas sheriff's outfit, basically.
That's right. Jamie's from Tyler, Texas. They country up there in Tyler. So Jamie Foxx from Tyler, Texas said, no, not on my watch. And so, man, they began stumping this guy into the middle of next week.
Oh, you should have seen his hands after that when he's getting carried off in the stretcher.
Was it bad?
Mangled.
Really?
The best that I can describe it as.
Look twisted.
There's a word for that. We call that FAFO.
Fool around and find out.
That's right. However you want to say that. But he found out. So this guy was only charged with a misdemeanor. He wasn't charged with a felony.
Yeah, because the weapon was not within his immediate reach.
Oh, so because it was in his backpack.
Yeah.
So he was taken to the hospital before he was booked early Wednesday into jail on a $30,000 bail. It's unclear what provoked the attack, but moments after the tackle, comedy guest Chris Rock came on stage and gave Chappelle a hug before saying, "Was that Will Smith?"
That's a good one.
Boy, I tell you, they just keep coming. They just keep coming. Keep coming. So Chris Rock referred to the infamous Smith slap after he made a joke about the actor's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, over her hair loss at this year's Oscar. Boy, I tell you, he got slapped into the middle of next week. Man, my grandmother heard that, and she's been gone for a long time. That was a hard slap. Let me tell you. But yeah, that's crazy thing. Don't run on the stage. That's why, that's why on Saturday, which is, what is it, the third Saturday of the month, at Central Texas Gunworks, we have Guns and Giggles. And nice comedy show there. Come on out and listen to my comedians. They're awesome. Guns and Giggles, the third Saturday of the month at Central Texas Gunworks. We have free food. We have free beer.
I'll be there.
No, he's free pizza, free beer. Like, what? That's right. Only at Central Texas Gunworks. Guns and Giggles. That's right. So come out and check it out. Comedians are awesome. They're great. They're all from all around the country. You have some Canadians that come down, and tell their jokes because they're all locked up there in Canada. They can't come out, so they come down to Austin to relax and take off their mask and talk about how bad it is in Canada. So it's actually a great show, great comedians. So definitely check us out. Third Saturday of the month, Guns and Giggles, only at Central Texas Gunworks. All right, so Michael, tell us about your race one more time. Give us a website. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. What do you want people to do? When is the runoff election? And all that good kind of stuff.
Okay, so we'll start off with my name. I'm Michael Rodriguez, running for Congressional District 35. So the runoff election is the early voting is May 16th through the 20th, and the election day is May 24th. Now, it's all commonly heard that the runoff election has low turnout. Oh, I mean, we need to come out. We need to like put somebody that's going to go and face this challenger and face him head on. And I'm willing to take that responsibility, and I'll accept the responsibility and I'll run with it. Like I said, I'm from the district, grew up from the district. I'd like to represent our district. And the best way to do that is for you guys to come out and vote. The runoff, May 16th to the 20th. Election day, May 24th. See, what else?
What's your website?
Thank you. My website is Michael for Texas. That's Michael, the number 4, and Texas.com. MichaelForTexas.com. So just hop on my website. I don't have any events posted right now because all I plan on doing this week is doing a bunch of block walking and meeting around, running around, trying to meet as many people as I can before the runoff election begins. So I ask everybody all the time, if you want me to be in your area, send me a shout. Send me where you want me to be, and I'll work it out, and I'll show up to wherever you ask me to be. I have no issues with meeting with anybody. I met with this person the other day, and I went to his house. He wanted to know more about me, and I was like, fine, I'll go to your place. Let's go. Let's meet. Let's talk. And we did. Talked for like 3.5 hours, just talking about everything in the world. Got to know him pretty well, and I will do that. So, but if you know somewhere that you think I should probably hit up, I'll be there. Like I said, MichaelForTexas.com. Michael, the number 4, Texas.com.
Man, I thank you, Michael. Really appreciate that. And that's Michael Rodriguez. Definitely check him out. Okay? Because we got to make sure that our voices are heard. You need to make sure we don't have, people that want to take your guns away. Want to make sure that we want to fund the police. We need a strong police department. And that stuff is important. Crime is increasing, around the country. The other guy, thought it was, thinks it's okay, for, rioters to destroy property and destroy businesses. You think it's okay to do that kind of thing. You think it's okay that, they should be able to, destroy your business because they're upset. And this is, but unfortunately, the videos that talked about all this stuff have been scrubbed from the internet. You can't find any of those videos anymore. So now I got to go back through all my stuff now and dig up this stuff because I know we've talked about this and we shared these videos online before. I got to go through years of video now to scrub and figure all this stuff out and pull this stuff up so we can play it for you. You know what? Later on in the month of May, we're going to do our show live from Central Texas Gun Rush. We're going to do it right there in the gun store. So you're going to catch us in the gun store. We're going to talk about some guns that are out there. We're going to talk about, one of these days, we may take you to the gun range. I don't know. We may take you downtown Austin, Texas. So we're going to do some remote stuff. That's where we're going in the future. I want you to, get away from the studio. We're going to get from behind this desk and talk about some real things. As always, more guns equals less crime. You go out there and you buy yourself a gun. You've been listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.